All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Black and Gold. This is HiBruiNation, the unofficial home of your Boston Bruins. Goosey, joined as always by the Vibe Captain himself, Matty V. We are unfortunately without King Higgy VIII tonight, but he is with us in spirit, and in the spirit of changing his name every time, he is now taking upon King Higgy VIII. We got a good show for you guys tonight. We got the Boston Bruins having no WJC representation, special teams wish list, players of concern, and much, much more. But first, we here at HiBruiNation hope everyone had a happy holidays. Buddy, how was your Christmas, Mr. Vibe Captain?
It was good. It was good. It's always good to have that break. I'm sure everyone had, or mostly everyone probably had, that break from work. You've been off for 2 fucking weeks or whatever you've been doing. So, it's good to see family. Kind of little reset. I love Christmas, dude. I love everything about it. The movies, the music. I kind of go overboard, but now that it's over, it's kind of nice. Things are settling down. This is coming out tomorrow on New Year's Eve, so we got New Year's. Looking forward to that. So hopefully we're gonna the New Year in strong. How about you?
That was good, dude. It was very good. Spend some time with the family. Santa was very good to myself and my sister. So, and I echo you. I love Christmas. I love the holidays. I love the season. It just kind of stinks, like with me being in school, and sometimes I lose track of time and things like that. So I can't get fully, immersed into the holiday spirit as much as I would otherwise. But I love it, dude. Like I had a friends miss, right before, Christmas. So it's been nice. I've been just chilling and enjoying the holiday spirit, man. It was great.
It's the best.
Dude, everyone's in such a good mood too. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard to find people that are in bad moods. I mean, unless if you're doing any last minute shopping, then you feel like you're in a rush. But like, generally speaking, like, people are always waving. They're happy. It's a good moment. Kids get excited about Santa coming, and just like the vibes are just too good, man. Like, football would also is in full swing. Basketball, hockey. It's a great time. Obviously to take away from like, the winter, with the days getting a little, darker in terms of
Not
like,
really. We're past that. We're past the solstice, baby. We only got more sunlight from here on out.
There we go. And but
it was like 60 degrees today.
Yeah, how weird in December.
I left work and I walked out of the office and it was like it was like a cold spring day. It was weird.
Yeah, I took Ella down to the Lynn rink, off the Linway, just to do a public skate today. And I like, wore a, sweatpants, sweatshirt, and I just put my jersey over me, like, just in case, like, the rink was a little bit colder, but also when I get out, like, so that brisk air doesn't hit me. And I never checked the weather. And I was like, oh my God, I walked out. I had to take off my sweatshirt because it was warm, like 60 degrees. I get in my car. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sweating. It's crazy.
It's one of those stretches. Well, you don't want to get used to it because it'll be miserable in February when it's fucking 9 degrees out when you go to start your car.
Right.
But it's a tease. But
Did you
nice.
see that? Did you see the weather this week? I mean, not the kind. I know we're a hockey podcast, but like it's going to be warm or relatively warm for what it is this week. It's crazy. I mean, I want the cold weather because again, we talked about. I want a freaking pond, man. I want to go skate on some.
We're gonna find one. We're gonna find one.
I was in New Hampshire this past weekend, buddy, and there was snow, but not a lot of frozen ponds. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, it hasn't been cold enough. You might find some up Rick's Way, up in Camp, north of the border, or way up in Maine, but I don't even know if it's been cold enough up that way for that long yet.
Yeah, I mean, I know Vermont's been a little cold, but like it's a long way to drive. 3 hours, probably just to play an hour and a half, 2 hours of puck. Actually, I could probably spend all day out at a puck.
I've only been to Vermont like twice.
Dude, it's beautiful out there. I love that.
It's nice, but it's for some reason it seems like it's a pain in the ass to get to.
Well, it's not bad. You go up 93, I think, right? Yeah, probably somewhere like something like that. You can't take a couple exits. Yeah, I think you can get through there because like you can go through New Hampshire, get to VT, right? Okay, maybe I'm directionally challenged. Yeah, maybe I'm directionally challenged. Who knows? Whatever. All right, guys. Well, we got a good show. Let's get into some of the bit of the bear down breakdown here, guys.
Hold on.
All right. Well, there really
I
wasn't.
changed that so bad.
It's not that
It's
bad,
such a
dude. Like,
sad little puck off the post.
it's all right. People are waiting for it. It's like you're a goalie waiting for that shot to come. You know what I mean? Well, it's fine. We'll change it. We'll get it going. Let's start with the Bruins not having any representation in the World Junior Championship. We are the only NHL team that doesn't have a single effing player.
I actually didn't know that until you made it. You made it a point to say that a little while ago. But yeah, I was not aware that the Bruins don't have anybody. Have you been watching any of the tournament?
I haven't. I wanted to. I mean, I've been keeping up with some of the scores. I mean, I saw Canada got smoked by Team Latvia in the shootout. What a disappointing loss that was for them. But we also got our butts handed to us by Finland.
Not
So
really, not really. That was an overtime goal, uh, for most of the over. That was they scored on their first possession in overtime. Finland. USA had the puck the entire time, and the first time Finland. I mean, obviously it was a cupcake goal, but um, it's been cool. I love when there's tournaments like this, whether it's the Olympics or the World Juniors.
for
I
sure.
love it. Anytime that I can rally behind Team USA, I love it.
I watched a lot of it last year too. I mean, I do like it, especially if they have some summer hockey tournaments too that I like to watch on there. So I mean, it's awesome when I have time. I love to watch it. It's an amazing showcase of what the talent is to come into the NHL or potentially come into the NHL. You know what I mean? It's just an amazing thing. It takes you back to kind of like the 1980 games where it was a group of college students, right? Like these are just like U18 individuals or I'm sorry, under 20. So it's awesome to see, dude. And I love watching the young talent come into the league. It's just a concern that the Bruins don't have a guy. And the only eligibility criteria that existed is that you have to be a citizen of the country that you're representing, and you have to be, I think, less than 20 years of age.
Is it 20?
It's under 20.
Yeah.
I think 20 and under. I think 20, if you turned 20 this year, you're fine. But if you're turning 21, I don't think you can. Like if you turn 21, yeah, I think. Don't quote
So
me on it.
with the Bruins having nobody, yes, it's disappointing. Cause for concern?
Maybe because you
With
would
farm
think
system?
that, yeah, I would say so. Like, does it just mean that we don't really have that like much of any talent anywhere that kind of got selected for their respective countries? It does get concerning. Like, we drafted Dean Letrino, so I was hoping like, is he really not impressing? I think he's at BC. Is he
He's a
really not?
PC. I think I've heard he's been having a pretty decent year. I don't know the
Yeah,
actual numbers, but I think that he's having an okay year. Nothing, spectacular, but
yeah. And the
obviously not good enough to play for Team USA right now.
well, I don't think he's American. I can't remember specifically his
He is, isn't
nationality,
he?
but in general, I don't know. But in general, if he's not on playing on any team or like any of our other prospects, because I think we still have like Riley Duran and things like that. So it is a concern. It is kind of a knock on Don Sweeney,
He is not
Canadian.
Canadian.
Yep, figured. So it's just another maybe a knock on Don Sweeney, but you never know. Not every single one of those players that play in the the WJC, work out in the NHL. So who knows? Who knows? You know what I mean? But
Yeah, it's when I first found out, my first thought was, "Holy shit! Like, why do we not have any young guys that are good enough to play in this tournament right now?" But like you said, it's kind of a hard thing because yeah, these guys are. Some of them have already been drafted. Some of them haven't. I mean, it's. I think it's kind of tough to judge unless you're one of these like standout young kids who you know is going to make an impact in the league once they get up there. But it's con- a little concerning. I
we
mean,
also haven't had a first round pick and a grip. Like, if you think about it, like we traded a lot away, that led us to the 2022-2023 season, like, the year that will ever go down in infamy for the Boston Bruins. And I mean, we gave up a lot of draft capital. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. We haven't had that many top picks, in the years in terms of the NHL draft. So I guess it makes sense in a way. So it still is a concern in my head, but I'm
Mhm.
not going to be overly zealous about it. So
Yeah.
that's where we're going to be.
I know the day this comes out, It's USA Canada, which honestly will probably be the best two teams in the whole tournament. So hopefully that's a good game. Hopefully USA can pull out the win. So Rick doesn't have anything to hold over our heads.
Yeah, right. But that was just a minor topic and just a fun one to kind of bring up, and a weird one. It was something I saw circulating on Twitter. And I said we should probably discuss this,
Yeah.
and it's also, honestly also something that we should note that we don't like Don Sweeney. So like it's also something that Bruins management should be looking at. Be like, hey, none of your picks, not even playing in any of these showcases. So
That's another thing too. I mean, that's one thing on your wish list. That like that you hope that management and ownership is like, we don't have. They're the only team without somebody representing in this tournament. What are we doing wrong? How can we start developing younger players or drafting better? So you hope that's on their minds. That's on your Christmas wish list for this year. But who knows with them, Sweeney and Neely bonehead.
Right. Speaking of speaking of wish lists, special teams, the Bruins special teams are absolutely garbo. We are bottom in the league in both penalty killing and power play. I believe we were 23rd as of Friday. I don't know the updated numbers as of Saturday in terms of penalty killing, and I think it was like around 75%. And then we are either 32nd or 31st in power play percentage, with a measly, I think, 13.6% on the power play, which is abysmal.
The Bruins, I don't have the numbers here. We're so far. The Bruins are 25th in the penalty kill.
Awesome.
At 76% even.
Awesome.
And they are so low on the power play that I have to pay to get the information. This website that I'm on only goes 1 to 25, so I can try to find it. But if it makes you feel any better, which I know it does not, it's less than 16.7%.
Oh
where
my
the Kings
God.
are at 25.
Dude, that's
we have to be last, right?
Terrible.
They have to be last.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. I mean it's kind of ridiculous. I'm trying to actually see if I can, find it. We're actually 30th in the league with 13.2%. The Islanders and the Anaheim Ducks are the only two teams worse than us.
It's horrible.
That's nuts. Horrible. It's awful. It's terrible. It's the worst. It's uncharacteristic. The PK is uncharacteristic of Boston. When you think of the Boston Bruins, you think of a team and an organization that builds from the back end to the front, right? Not the inverse. And so to see it at anything below, I would think 80 to 83% is, and I know that's kind of a weird number, but I feel like 83% is a really good penalty kill. It is kind of real, or a good penalty kill. Anything less than 83% is not at all playing to par. And for maybe the Bruins, maybe less than 85%, is playing under par for them. Because over the last, decade or so, they've had good penalty kills. You can go back and look at it.
I don't know why it's so fucking bad this year. I mean, this past week, they've had spurts where they look a little bit better. I don't get why it's so bad. Are we getting to the point where, when I say coaching change, I don't mean coaching change? Do we bring another coach in, or do we change whoever's in charge of special teams? I believe right now it's Chris Kelly, right?
Chris Kelly is in charge of the power play, and Joe Sacco is in charge of the PK. So
is he still running the PK?
I think so, because they have not. Don Sweeney has said that they're not going to rush to hire any coaches or anything like that. So I would imagine that he's running double duty, or some other coaches is taking some of that responsibility away from Joe Sacco, and maybe that's impacting. I don't know. Maybe it's the personnel. But I doubt it's the personnel. It's the same personnel. You still have Coyle, Carlo, McAvoy when he's not being a Muppet. And you have Marchand, Elias Lindholm's a good penalty killer. You have pieces on there that are good penalty killers. I think even Lohrei is pretty decent. Andrew Peak is decent, but you also
Lohrai's weird. He goes through spurts too, where he's playing awesome, and then when he's good, and when he's bad, he's bad.
Yeah, he's young though. He's 23,
Yes.
24. So you got to anticipate that what he's going through are growing pains. So, he's not like someone I would anticipate to have a stronger feel of a penalty kill like Elias Lindholm or, David Pat, not saying David Pastrnak kills penalties, but like, someone older and a seasoned veteran, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
on the team. So I think there's quite a few things that could be wrong. There could be the personnel that they're choosing to kill the penalties. It could be the coaching mentality. It really is a big question, but 76% is really not for this team. Not good. And I mean, we went 0 for 3 on the penalty kill on Friday, and that amazing game against Columbus where we got blown out 6-2, the second time this year that it was a
The old
blowout through them.
Columbus BJs.
The Dirt Jackets, the Columbus Dirt Jackets.
Yeah.
I was ripping my hair out, in that game. They flat. But we'll get to that in our weekly recap. But focusing on the special teams is, I don't know. I don't know how to explain the PK because not much has changed there. But in terms of the power play, there needs to be a change.
Well, you can talk about personnel too. Why is Justin Brazeau on your power play? Why is Charlie McAvoy still quarterbacking your fucking power play?
It's because Hampus Lindholm is not back.
Where's he? When's he coming back? Because it was, I believe, when he first got hurt, they said 6 weeks, and if I counted right, and I don't know if that's true because I'm not the smartest, it's December 27th. Is he even skating right now?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Not to my knowledge.
But you know what? There was a picture. By the way, congratulations to Hampus and now his fiance, who got engaged. There was a picture of a very nice picture of him, like, proposing to his wife on one knee, and the Twitter comments blew up and just like, get off the knee until you can play on it, and like,
Yeah,
things
rehab
like that.
that shit.
Yeah, and I'm just
We
like,
need
guys,
you
I
back
mean,
on the ice.
yeah, for real. And I was just like, oh, come on, it's a nice moment, but we don't know when he's coming back. And I think in the last press conference, he said he's still a little while, like a while's away. So I don't know. There's no timetable on him. I don't know if they're trying to shop certain players and see if maybe put him on LTIR or do something. I have no idea what is going on internally in the organization and why he isn't back, or maybe he really is just, he still needs more rehab.
Maybe they just love Jordan Osterley so much.
He grew on me a little bit, and then
Take your time, Hampus. We have this guy.
Osterley impressed me a little bit, but then I realized he's not Hampus Lindholm. And to your point,
No, he got thrown into a situation. He's been good. He's been a good placeholder.
He's been a constant, and I think that's what's been needed. In terms of like taking McAvoy away as your power play quarterback, I 100% agree. I think that spot should be given to literally anybody else. Quite literally anywhere else. What did you say? Like,
It's
little
not
Becky?
even just him on the power play either. He's just. I'm not the one to.
We'll get to that because I have a feeling we're going to agree on something later on. But you're right, Brazeau. But Brazeau's a big body. I wouldn't mind planting his ass like in front of the goaltender and doing things, but like not on your first power play unit. You need some quickness on there. You need some better decision making on the power play, and I think that's what it's been. I don't think it's necessarily the personnel. I think it's just the decision making processes. They're just like, they're still feeding it to Pastrnak, though. Joe Sacco had said that, like, we want quantity over quality at this point, whereas in Montgomery's philosophy was quality over quantity. Meanwhile, everyone at the Garden is screaming, shoot the puck.
You get that anytime, though.
More recent now than I think ever. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
Because I find myself screaming half the time, like, you see a lane, take it.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing that we saw before, too. It's like they're always trying to, it's not even just them. You could say it about a lot of teams, too. Guys are always looking for that perfect shot or to make that extra pass. It's little tiny stuff like that. But I think, and I don't know the numbers, that the shooting percentage has gone up under Sacco, too. So
They've been better. It's because they've also you shoot more. Things happen like when you shoot the puck and get it to the net, right?
Yeah.
That's what they teach you in hockey. Shoot it. If you can't get if you can't get it into the back of the net, at least try it for a rebound, right?
Yeah.
Don't just put it into the guy's chest or the guy's glove. I mean, I get it sometimes, like, when you're in stride, you can't always get that perfect shot off and the puck is going to be the puck, it's going to go. But, at least make an attempt. And I just don't see enough of that on the power play. I don't. Like, we're not Colorado. Like, we don't have Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, and Nathan MacKinnon who move the puck so fluidly. I mean, you brag about watching good passing. Have you seen their power? Like how quickly those guys move it?
Yep.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
Winnipeg's power play is good too.
Oh, and they're just like you. I'm like you. I could watch good passing and quality, like decision making.
I love it. I don't know if I said that on here or if I said it in a group text, but I could watch good passing for hours.
Quality. Anything quality, dude. It's awesome stuff to watch. Whether you're a fan of the team or not, doesn't matter. It's just some bomb ass hockey to absolutely watch. It's amazing. Now, what do the Bruins need? I think they need to get rid of Chris Kelly or put him somewhere else where
get rid of, or just take him off special teams.
Take him off special teams. I always thought Chris Kelly, even on the Bruins, was more of a penalty killer. So I think he would have been best served as the PK coach. And from it's just what I've seen that he's the power play coach. And I think he also did maybe take over some PK responsibilities. Again, I'm not entirely sure. This is what I've read and what I've seen. It's just not up to snuff, dude. Like 13% got trash. Like that's not play. Those aren't playoff numbers. And right now you're sitting in a playoff spot. Like, what? In 2019, we were known for only scoring on the power play. Now we can't even get a power play goal every 5 games. It's terrible.
And that's the thing. It's like you said too. It's. I don't know how it went downhill so fast, but it's right from the jump this year. It's been bad.
Yeah, and there hasn't been much difference from this year to last year. In fact, I think I've said it before. We're much better on paper. On paper, this team should be better, but we're not.
Yeah.
And I thought, by the way, they finally did it. They fucking finally did it. They called up Fabian Lysell.
Your boy. I couldn't believe when I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw that he was called up and it was his fucking name after all the joking we did. I told you he was going to get called up eventually.
I knew he was going to get called up eventually. I was just hoping it would be sooner and not just for one farging game. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, I saw that on, I think Saturday morning and my eyes lit up. Everything felt right in the world. I'm like, they're finally going to give this kid an opportunity. He played on Saturday against Columbus, which was a 4-0 win, a good team win, a great response to the shit loss the night before. And I thought he played well. I thought he disappeared at times, but he was playing on the third line, and that third line hasn't been solid. But he was pivotal in scoring the first goal. He went into the corner, got the puck, and it got to Lowry, and I believe it was Carlo that was also credited with an assist. Got to the net, gets and Braz puts it in the back of the net, dude. I thought that he had at least earned himself another game. Turns out they returned him to Providence. I believe it was yesterday.
He was. And he skated with them this morning. So I don't understand the move. I don't understand calling him up for a game. I know I was joking around with you because I know he's your boy that they were showcasing him for a trade, which I don't think is the case.
No, you do that for more than one game.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle made a good point in the group chat too. He said Lysell's parents were over here for the holiday. Maybe the Bruins are just doing him a solid, letting him get his debut when his parents were in town from, I'm going to botch this, Sweden.
Yeah, I believe he's Swedish.
Is it Swedish?
I believe so.
I also today there was an interview with Sacco, and I believe he said something to the effect of, Lysell didn't hurt his chances of playing in Boston, but he saw with the schedule coming up and the Capitals game tomorrow, he just didn't feel like the matchup was right. So we'll see going forward, but I think he helped his chances. I don't think that he's going to be a permanent fixture in Boston, but maybe he's part of that rotating door of guys until they can figure somebody else out. I don't think he's going to get a permanent spot on the team. I don't.
The Bruins need a quick, speedy, and talented guy like Lysell in the lineup, because you saw how effective that was against Columbus, against a team that plays a good, strong defense. You need someone that can get in low, get in deep, and get it done quick, and escape pretty quickly too from those areas. And so I think Lysell fits that. So does Patra, but I think the expectation for Lysell for what Boston has is not the game Lysell is trying to play. Lysell wants to score. You don't look at a guy like David Pastrnak, who's a goal scorer, to play stellar defense. He's not a two-way forward. He's your goal scorer. I think Lysell is similar to that. He wants to be a goal scorer. You're not going to see him make strong defensive plays. You need that. And a guy like Wahlstrom too. Wahlstrom's not known for playing stellar defense. It's not just about size to me anymore. Everyone knew that the Bruins needed size, but I also think that the Bruins needed some speed in there.
I like him. I like Lysell. I'm rooting for the kid. For some reason, the team doesn't. And I could also say, and maybe it's not that they don't like him, but I don't understand why is Patra not being called back up? I said
I
it
don't
before
know.
when he was on that tear, and people on Twitter disagreed. Why is he not being called up? Well, let him develop. How much more does he have to develop in Providence when he's lighting it up there? And all these, you have fucking Mark McLaughlin playing in Boston. You have Fabian Lysell being called up for the first time, while Patra is still down there dominating.
That was my question. You call up a guy like Mark McLaughlin, and I'm not saying McLaughlin's like a bad player. He's not. He's a rotating guy. But you keep him going on to the 3-game road trip, but you send back down Lysell. I would have just put Lysell on the fourth line.
Yeah, the Lysell move is weird. I don't get the one game, and maybe Sacco isn't blowing smoke, and he really just wanted to call him up and saw the matchups this week. And then we have the look ahead coming up. I believe it's Washington. You have Toronto. You have the Rangers, who have been fucking
It's a tough
terrible,
schedule.
but on paper it should be a better team. Like maybe he just didn't like the matchups and would rather have somebody else. But it was weird to have one game get his debut and immediately get sent back down.
3 of the 4 of these games are tough games in theory, on paper. Right? You have the Capitals, as you said. You have the Maple Leafs, which you got to give Maple Leafs the credit. I mean, fuck the Leafs, but they are a playoff team. They are going to make the playoffs. And then you have the Rangers, who, yes, they're on a landslide right now, but you also have to respect Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick. They've played well despite the team not playing in front of them.
Which is
So,
why I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and take that the fact they didn't like the matchups into consideration.
yeah, but again, Mark McLaughlin, man, are you just keeping him there or traveling with it? He's traveling with the team just in case a guy goes down.
But to your
I don't
point
know.
too, he hasn't been bad. He's another guy he's another piece that if you bring him up, you know that he's solid.
No. I don't know how I like the way he skates. He skates over, have you ever watched him? Like him and actually, as a matter of fact, Patra too. They're hunched like a lot, like more than average, I'd say. Right, like when they go in for the puck, I
McLaughlin's
see.
taller too, so that might be.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just weird. I mean, it's nothing against the guys. I just find it strange. I guess is how the way I should have put it, but it's a little strange. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be because he's taller. I went to I think the last game I went to was um the Utah game, and I saw someone walking. I think I might have said this before. I saw somebody walking around with a McLaughlin jersey, and I thought it was the weirdest thing that somebody went out and bought a McLaughlin jersey.
Maybe it's a friend, family member. Showing
Yeah,
some
I don't
support.
know.
No
I
idea.
don't know.
But
He
hey,
is local.
yeah, Bill Rick a kid. Bill Rick a
He is
kid. No,
local.
I mean, to your point about Patra, I don't know what I've seen the same comments about developing him. I don't know. I mean, I thought his game was pretty well rounded last year. I think he had a good, strong sense of what it takes to be in the NHL. I think he still did this year. I think could be something lingering from his shoulder, and they want to make sure that is rehabilitated pretty well. I think maybe they want to see how much more muscle he can put on before, because he is still tiny. I think he's still only like 180 something or like 178 or something. He's not that big. So I think they want him to put on a little
But
bit
he
more
also, I mean,
muscle.
he put on more. If that's what and not you specifically, but as a team, if that's your excuse, then you gotta come up with something better than that. He's got
Yeah.
to get bigger. I mean, look what he's doing down there. And before he went down, he wasn't. He wasn't. I didn't think we've said this a million times too. I didn't think that he was that bad to get sent down in the first place.
Nope. I don't know what the Bruins are doing. I have no idea at this point in time. But I think we also say this out of frustration because we're seeing a team struggle for the first time in a long time. Like actually struggle to put 2 wins together simultaneously. Or I'm sorry, back to back, not
And it's
simultaneously.
been
That'd be
better
weird.
too. It's been better since Sacco took over, and obviously that's the case. But I don't think that fans are used to seeing the team struggle in the areas where they have been.
Yeah,
Which
it's very true.
again, we're spoiled for it because
Yeah, we're Boston fans.
yeah. So a lot of teams go through this, and they go through the same issues and headaches. But
Yeah, I agree.
it sucks, and I don't like it. I want them to be better.
Well, that adds to again, that adds to the size versus the speed thing. Like, I would prefer Patra and Lysell up here as a consistent piece. They do need like that. Like
Yeah.
Cole Kepke, cool. Wow, great. What a guy. Like I like Cole Kepke. I don't get me wrong, I do. But at the same time, you have this first round pick that you've been touting all these years who's eventually going to make it to the NHL. Give him a 9-game tryout. Give him something.
Mhm.
Like do something. You have Potter, who looks to be like a good second round steal. So in Potter might not need much more development, but Lysell, it's been 3 years. You're not going to get much more development out of the kid. It's been 3 years. So now by now you should know.
I feel like that's a cop out. That's a cop out answer to why isn't he here? And not you. I'm just saying from the
Yeah.
team's point of view. I think it's a cop out answer. Like oh, well, he's down there to develop. Like he's ready. And I don't understand. And again,
Yep.
maybe I'm just stupid, but I don't understand the thought process.
Oh, I don't think we ever will. It's one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, and Joe Sacco. All right. Let's get into some concerning players. Originally I had this as, something about based upon their contract value, but I decided that I think there's just more than about their contract value. And I think we can just talk about them. One of the players, and we'll get to your boy later, Trent Frederick. I've been seeing a lot of negativity surrounding him in terms of what people are saying. And I'm inclined to agree. But I also am on the side that he's been having so many different line mates this entire season. It, it's I'm pretty sure even he's frustrated with himself, but it's difficult to form chemistry when you have a new line mate every other game and it's against different opponent because you can't really learn to play in different scenarios with your line mates in that area. So I don't know if it's as much as Trent as much as it is everything else that's going on with the Bruins, because a lot of other Bruins aren't doing as that well either, But Trent Frederick should be noted that he is not doing that great.
So I have the numbers pulled up right here. In the last 9 games, Trent Frederick has 0 points. He is a -5, and he has 6 shots on net in 9 games. And also, the Bruins website breaks down how many shifts. He's had 161 shifts in the past 9 games, and he has 6 shots.
He's not been good.
No points.
He's not been good. I'm not gonna lie. He's on a contract year too. So, but the interesting thing is, people are saying like, let's see if we can move him and get some value. And I'm just like, a lot of teams are interested in a guy like him. I'm on the side of keeping him, and I think he's better served as a winger instead of a center. But I'm not willing to get rid of Trent Frederick right now just because he's having a down year.
He is a name that's been thrown around, potential moves at the trade deadline this year. Kyle wants to shoot his ass into the sun.
Kyle also likes Riley Tufte, so like let's
He
wants
to shoot his ass into the sun, but again, I don't know. Not that he's been having a career year, but that's bad. I mean, 9 straight
not good.
games, no points, 6 shots. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize it broke down how many shifts per game. 161 shifts, and you have 6 shots on net.
Yeah. Well, does that also speak to how the Bruins have also been playing in their own end a lot? Like, they have
Could.
been.
It could, yeah.
So, I mean, those shifts could be spent on the power play. No, I'm sorry, not the power play, but the PK. I believe he's on the PK. I mean, it could be spent in his zone, like, in a transitionary state when, like, the Bruins are transitioning from offense to defense and they're changing out. So it really, it does. That straight number doesn't really do it a whole lot of justice because we don't know how that's happening in terms of the total game mechanic. But no, no matter which way you spin it, he hasn't been good right now. But I'm not willing to, give up on him. Look at Morgan Geekie.
Should
People
win
were
this
ready
one.
to look. Vogel's done with
You're
him.
not ready for that
But
yet.
if you're like Morgan Geekie, though everyone was like, oh, he sucks, but now he's starting to get going. And you got to find a way to get Trent Frederick going. You know what I mean?
He's someone too. He's hot and cold. He'll be good, and then he'll be bad, and then somebody will chirp him on Twitter, and then he'll light it up, and then he'll kind of go cold. And then he's someone he hasn't been very. He's been for the most part this year pretty good, but hasn't been super consistent.
I want to see a line where you find a way. Maybe you can do it this way. Maybe bring back Patra, do Trent, Patra, Braz, or something, but get Trent off the center because I think he hasn't had much production because he hasn't been on the wing. He was a lot better on his wing. So I think that's the move you need to make with Trent. I'm not ready to get rid of him yet, but find a way to get him going because right now that the third line has been a revolving door, similar to that second line right wing position. It's been a revolving door. They're still figuring out their roster, and we're almost halfway through the season. That's what's pissing me off and having me bugging. So figure out your lineup because you're still juggling some of those pieces, and you shouldn't be. A lot of the teams by now are not.
Mm-hmm.
Second player, your favorite, Charlie McAvoy.
Strap him to the roof of the rocket that's going into the sun.
Not a big fan?
Believe it or not, no. I'm not.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not, no. This guy's making, what is it, $9 million a year?
9 million plus, yep.
9 million plus a year, and I don't understand the hype. I really, truly do not. I don't. He was named to Team USA for the Four Nations thing. He's getting nothing but praise from Bruins fans. He's got the A. The guys in the room, I think, like him, which they have a different relationship and a different dynamic. But I don't think he's that good. And I hate to be negative so much, but god damn, is it frustrating to watch him.
In 38 games this year, he has 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points, and he's a plus 10. Career, he has 492 games played, 58 goals, 235 assists, 293 points, and a plus 154. So career-wise, good defenseman. This year, I don't know how I feel about it. In his last 5 games, he has 3 points, and he is a plus 5.
I'm one of those guys. I don't take plus minus super into account when talking about shit like that. But I am on record that I have been pulling for him, and I want him to change my mind this year, and I don't see it yet. And I don't understand everybody else who does.
Do you think his defensive partner has been playing into him having to maybe compensate on the defensive side of the puck?
It could be. It could be, but I also don't think that if he is compensating, that he's doing a very good job. I don't. If you watch, take next game, take the game tomorrow or today when this comes out against Washington, and just keep an eye on him in the defensive zone. I don't think that he's that good.
He puck watches.
Yeah,
But so doesn't have to. But I will say this: the Bruins puck watch in general. I've seen it. They don't attack the attackers. You know what I mean? They don't pressure them. I
I've
mean, if you
noticed
go
it more
back,
this year than past years.
because you go back to 2022, 2023, even Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno said like they didn't pressure Florida nearly enough in the defensive zone. You have to do something. I understand you want to make them make the mistake, but you have to pressure them into making the mistake. Like, don't try and reach for the puck and get a break to go for a breakaway or to try and do something like that. Like, don't be so creative that it ends up biting you in the ass, but do something better. And it's like one thing I've noticed with not just him, but everybody, but he himself, especially with that A on his jersey. And I think that's part of it. You expect a lot more from a guy like that.
That could be it. Maybe I'm taking that into account more so than I should be. Maybe he's just a locker room guy or more of a locker room guy than a leader on the ice. I just it's been, and I've been saying this since the last playoffs, and I don't want to. I don't want to keep saying it, but he hasn't showed me anything that'll change my mind.
Yeah,
And
I'm not.
people online will go to battle for him, and they probably hate this take, but
I don't think he
I
was
get
a
it.
bad choice by Boston. I actually think he's a good defenseman. I think he's having a down year, and I think he's probably in his own head. I mean, he's the only leader that is not, I think, performing up to snuff. Like Pasternak's going, Marchand's going. I think he needs to step up in a bigger way. I think, especially on the power play, if you're going to have him on the power play, you brought him in for something like that. Like, you know what I mean? That's exactly why you brought McAvoy here. He's excellent. He's supposed to be an excellent shooter, a strong skater, and a smart hockey IQ. So, yeah, I think he needs to perform better. $9 million, you have to play like you're earning $9 million. And right now, I don't think he is.
And we said that at the beginning of the year too, with Swayman getting his contract, where whenever he plays bad, people would bring up that number, but at a certain point, it's like, all right, you're making this much money, like let's start playing like it.
Right. And Swayman's been better. He has been.
But that's not a knock on Swayman. I'm just
No, I
saying that
know.
was the
But that's the
conversation we had.
point. But that's the point you're making. I understand that. But he's been better. Swayman is starting to live that up a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? He's starting to show that. But also, I think the team is just genuinely playing a lot better. I think the locker room mentality has changed a little bit. Does Marchand need to step up as a leader a little bit more? I don't think so. I think he's fine. I think he's doing his job. Another player, the players of note, John Beecher. I know we're gonna talk about the Hart winner.
Oh,
He's the ball. Well,
the GOAT, Johnny Beecher.
Kostelic is the balls. Beecher is the goat. Yeah, and I think he needs to I think they just need to simplify, because I think that Beecher, Koepke just need to simplify. Brazeau needs to simplify, because I wouldn't say those are necessarily, Brazeau's necessarily a player of concern, but Koepke and Beecher, a little bit, just a little bit. Just because, again, Beecher's size, you rely on him. I don't know. Yeah, those are just really some of the players of concern for us. Did you have any other players that you wanted to really discuss? Or do you
No,
think
the biggest one was Trent Frederick when I saw that stat online, and I looked more into it, his his last few games.
Yeah,
Which
it's a big one.
It won't be like that for the entire year, but he's a guy who has taken on a pretty significant role. He's not a first liner. He's middle six, but you can't have that from your guy who's in the heart of your lineup there like that.
Right, I agree. All right, the weekly recap. 2-1, 4 points out of a possible 6. Bruins are currently 20, 14-4 with 44 points. We played the Capitals. 4-1 loss. 4-1 win. I don't know why I said loss. I think you had that as a loss. That's why.
Yeah, I did not expect that game to be a win. Great team win though. Great game.
Great. What? And the floodgates didn't open until the final few minutes of the third period, but it was a good win. I think that they needed that. I think they needed to beat a team like Washington to gain some momentum, to gain some believability in themselves. really not much to say. It was a great defensive game, low shooting game, great defensive chess match. I mean, if you're a high scoring hockey fan, wasn't the game for you, but man, it was just
They looked
smart
awesome.
defensive. Yeah, smart defensive hockey from both sides of the spectrum on that. And for me, that's entertaining to watch. You know what I mean? Because anything can change at any moment. That's exciting hockey to me. Then we played the Columbus Dirt Jackets in a home and
Which
home.
was the complete opposite on Friday when we played
Awful.
them in Columbus. It was a 6-2 loss, and it was ugly.
Oh, I was ripping I was in New Hampshire this past weekend. I went snow tubing up at Pat's Peak. Nice little place, awesome
Thanks for the
awesome for
invite.
skiing too. You're welcome. Yeah, I must have just got lost in the mail, just like our
Okay.
invitations to the NHL draft.
Ouch.
And I was in the hotel room watching it with the people I had went with, and I was like I was trying so hard not to swear, scream, and break the TV because I was like, this is ridiculous. Zaka tied it up, and I was like, oh, this is good. And then in the second period, everything just went to shit, and I'm just like, I hate my life. So
Complete opposite from the Washington game. It was just bad. And against a team like Columbus, I thought that watching that game that we were just never going to beat Columbus ever again. The game
flat.
before Montgomery got fired was bad. This game was bad. I thought that the small part of me was I thought that Columbus might be the Bruins' kryptonite, which obviously I was wrong. But I was like, why can we beat this team? We always play so bad against Columbus. Maybe I
Yeah,
just think
I know.
too low of them.
Maybe Ken Johnson's in your head.
Oh, don't even get me started. Ken Johnson's a rat.
I mean, at least we got
You
our
can tell him
revenge.
I said it.
I will. I know him personally.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah, him and I go. Yeah, barbecues all summer. You didn't get
Tell
the
him I
invite?
said it. He's
I
a
will. I
punk
will.
ass.
I will. Oh, damn. I'm gonna add him for when we post this video. I'm gonna like, hey, listen, can you just look at 4701 or like
Yeah. Tell him he's a punk.
4650? Yeah, and he'll just listen to you roast him. Yeah, no, they came out flat. Horrible game. I don't even want to discuss it. That's all that needs to be said about it. Corpusalo left out to dry. That's all I have to say. And we get our revenge on Saturday, the next day. Swayman with the shutout, 4-1, 4-0. Good
Another
game,
good
I would
game.
say. Yep, that was Lysell's debut, and we already talked about it. Pivotal.
Yeah.
Pasternak's breakaway goal. Oh, phenomenal.
But like you said, overall good is 2-1. You get 4 points. It brings you to, I believe, on the season at 20-14-4. They have 44 points. They're sitting right now in third in the division. They're in a playoff spot. I mean, they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot. So hopefully they can keep it up, and hopefully we have a tough week coming up. We can come out of that with at least 4 points.
I would consider that a win.
That's what I'm hoping.
Breaking even.
Yeah,
Breaking
at least
even, I
4
would consider
points
that a
coming
win.
out of this. You have a stretch of pretty good teams or teams that should be good, but 4 points. I'd be happy with 4.
Yeah, so would I. All right. That was this week's recap. Let's talk about our big bad Bruin of the week. All right, guys, as you all know, and unfortunately Higgy's not here to give this astounding introduction, every week, everybody at HiBruiNation gives their opinions on who was the best Bruin this past week. Higgy may not be here with us today, but he did leave us a note making sure that his thoughts and opinions were heard during this episode. And for Kyle, the guy that he gives almost no credit for in the beginning of the year, Morgan Geekie, is Kyle's pick this week with 1 goal, 2 assists. And he said it himself. Well, I said we could shoot Geekie into the sun if we needed the roster space to get the young kids in, and he seems to have taken it personally. 10 points in his last 11 games, 3 points in 3 games this week. He has seemingly found some of the form he had last year while playing big minutes in the top 6. Sorry, Morgan. I take it back. I take back the ticket on the Sun Rocket. My bad. Thank you, Kyle. What a guy.
If you're watching that, it looked like Kyle was saying that, but believe it or not, it was Cam.
Yeah. Kyle and I just have very similar voices. Just like we.
So yeah, geeky. Was not expecting that from him.
I was not at all. I was when I read that, I was kind of shocked. So a man that can admit that when he was wrong, awesome.
I believe too, and we could go back and check. I think that's Geeky's first nomination for the Big Bad Bruin.
I think I had him as an honorable mention. I
Did
can't
you?
remember. I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at it. Yeah,
What do you
but
have this
no.
week?
Who do I got? I got our goaltender, the $8 million man himself, Jeremy Swayman. It was difficult not to give him credit after all of the flack he's been getting. He let in only one goal against an absolute rocket of a Washington Capitals team. And then he pitches the shutout against Columbus, the team that undressed him, way back in our first meeting with Columbus, which was the 5-1. And so it looked like he really wanted that revenge. He got it. And he was stellar in that game. He had a .955 save percentage and a .5 goals against average on the week. And so for me, it was just hard to pick anyone else except him, especially with the flack he's been getting.
I had him. He was up there for me, but at the end of the day, I picked Brad Marchand as my Big Bad Bruin. 4 points in 3 games this week. He had 1 goal and 3 assists. I believe he had a goal and 2 assists in the Washington game, which obviously he was a factor in almost every goal in that game. A team that should beat you in Washington. They've been red hot. Marchand showed up. He showed out for that game. He had another assist in one of the Columbus games. I forget which one it was off the top of my head. But yeah, I have Brad Marchand. But I also want to give a quick shout out to Swayman, who I almost had this week, and Lysell, who made his debut. And like we talked about earlier, we touched on it. He looked pretty good.
Just real quick, just to pivot back to Lysell for 1 second, it just came back to my mind. Did you know that he didn't have a rookie lap?
Yes, I saw he came out with no helmet, but he didn't.
Yeah, it was
he
weird.
didn't do his lap.
It's weird. Weird things in Boston, dude. Weird things in Boston.
Yeah, that was my first thought when I saw that too, but I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure why. I don't know if they just didn't want to, if he didn't want to do it or what.
Yeah, I think maybe he just wanted to get into it because it's a little strange. I don't know.
Yeah, because he did a couple laps with no helmet and then went back to the bench and put it back on. So I think he just kind of wanted to get going.
Yeah. To the week look ahead. And by the way, guys, we're doing this in-season competition for the week look ahead. So we are having a competition regarding who's going to have the best prediction percentage record. And at the end of the year, we're looking for some reasonable punishments for the loser. Excuse me. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. Sorry, I have a slight cough.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below what you think. Cam's going to get into the numbers. I know right now I am losing, so go easy with the punishments. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're streaming it anywhere, go to HiBruiNation.com, shoot us a message on there. We love to hear from you guys always, so let us know.
Dude, I think I have a tickle in my throat or something. Holy crap.
Yeah, you don't look great.
Something stuck in there.
You don't look great.
Ooh.
Get some water.
Yeah, no, I've been having some water, buddy. Holy cow. Ooh. Too much talking. Too much podcasting tonight. We had 2 shows tonight, buddy, that we did. Holy cow.
We did. We're coming off. Make sure you guys go check out the Pucking Around podcast on Don't Puck with Media as well. We're just coming off episode 53 of that show, so go check it out.
It's a good show. We had a good time. For our numbers for the competition, right now I am leading with 73.68% with a 28-10 record. Higgy is in second place, 17-10 with a 63% record, and Vogel is dead last.
Not even by much though. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Ooh, you suck.
It's a minor setback. Their comeback. Just watch.
With a 60%, even 60% too. No decimal in there. That's crazy.
Still a lot of hockey left.
There is. But I would say, dude, all three of us are north of 50%. Come on. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, but you're a little cocky over there for someone. We still got half the season. We still got half
13,
the season left.
almost 14% for you to come back from. Damn, I'd love to see you try, buddy.
It's easy to look at the Rangers. It's easy to fall from grace.
Hey, don't compare me to that bum of a team, dude. Come on. I thought we were on the same team. I thought we were on the same team here.
So today is Monday. We're recording this on the 30th. We have 4 games this week before we record next. When this comes out, it'll be Tuesday, New Year's Eve, where the Bruins will face the Washington Capitals in an afternoon game at 12:30 p.m. Thursday, there's a night game against the Rangers that will be at 7. Saturday is in Toronto. That will also be a 7 o'clock game. And Sunday, we have back-to-back Saturday and Sunday. We have the New York Islanders at 6 p.m. I know you broke down Kyle's Big Bad Bruin this week, so I'll get it going right now. Kyle gave us his predictions. He couldn't be here today. Obviously, pretend I'm Kyle. Against the Capitals, he has a loss. Against the Rangers, he has a win. Against the Maple Leafs, he has a win. And against the Islanders, he has a loss, which was very surprising to me to see he has us losing to the Islanders. But that's where Kyle is. I have Capitals as a win, Rangers as a win, Maple Leafs as a win, and the Islanders as a win. I am going clean sweep this week. I know it is a tall order, but I am going clean sweep. Fuck the Caps, fuck the Rangers, fuck the Leafs, and fuck the Islanders. Bruins are going to take this week in a sweep.
Damn, sweep. Oh,
I need to change it up. I'm falling behind. I can't keep picking the same thing you guys are.
We've never performed well in matinee games, so I'm actually going to take the L on the Capitals. The Rangers are falling from grace. I'm going to give that a win. Fuck the Leafs, dude. So we're probably going to lose the game against the Leafs, but I'm going to give that a win. And the Islanders, I also have a win. I just can't see us losing to the Islanders. They're OT merchants. If it goes to overtime, it's game over. These are very winnable games. Like I said, at least if we win 2 of these, we should. So, that's my take on it. But again, going out of logic and reasoning, the matinee game, difficult. The Rangers, I would love to respect Shesterkin and Quick, but that team is just not playing up to snuff. Maple Leafs, I think Matt Murray is playing for them right now, so I mean, whatever. So long as Joseph Woll isn't playing, I think we have a chance. And then the Islanders, I mean, it really depends, man. It really depends. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1.
Hopefully 4 points this week. We'll call it an even split. I don't think it's going to happen, but we're going Fulls. Clean sweep.
Yeah. All right. I think that does a vibe, Captain Matty V. Take us out.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for episode 26. Make sure you go check out HiBruiNation.com for our blogs, our pre-games, our game recaps, and much, much more. Make sure you connect with us on Twitter, Bluesky, TikTok, Instagram, MySpace, whatever you have. Make sure you check us out on there, or you can send us a voice memo or a DM to be heard or played on the next episode. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on all of our platforms. I actually forgot I was going to do this beforehand. Going into 2025, we have some big, big news. We might have some more content coming your way, courtesy of HiBruiNation. We're still working out some kinks, but be on the lookout for that. If it comes to fruition, it is going to be fucking awesome. As always, we love you guys. And until next time, Cam, you want to give it to him?
Go Bruins, baby.